Hi guys, happy Easter. Welcome back to Alicia's channel. Today we're going to be doing a childhood favorite of mine. We're doing hot cross buns, okay? With a twist, with the Alicia twist on it. I remember as a kid, we would save our lunch money and stop at Purity Bakery on in near Meadowbrook, because I went to Meadowbrook High School, so it would be on Red Hills Road. Purity Bakery was at the time when we grew up in the 90s on Red Hills Road, and we would stop and buy hot cross buns. They would only make them around Easter time. So today I'm going to be making my own version of a hot cross bun. In my bowl here with my dry ingredients, I have 8 cups of, I'm making a big batch because I'm going to be giving some of this away. I have 8 cups of all-purpose flour, 4 cups of 4 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 cups of dark brown sugar over here that we're going to add later, 2 tablespoons of cinnamon that's already in here, and I have 12 ounces, which I have, like I kept an extra 2 cups I have here of coconut milk, and this is fresh grated and squeezed coconut milk. I have extra because if the dough needs to, moisten a little bit, this is what I'm going to be using instead of just water. And then we're going to be using half a teaspoon of vanilla. And then here, this is a yeast bun. They're going to be in small, cute little buns, the hot cross buns. 1 cup of warm water, 2 tablespoons of dry active yeast, and 2 teaspoons of sugar to activate the yeast. This is already done, and the water is warm. Okay, so the yeast is dissolved in here. When we come back, I'm going to bring this over to my mixer, and we're going to be putting in a dough hook, and we're going to be mixing the dough. What was not in the hot cross buns that I grew up with was this little apparatus mixture here. I'm putting in preserved cherries, and do you know what this is? This is raisins and currants that I took from my black cake wine rum mixture. So this stuff is rum and wine soaked currants and raisins that I'm going to be using. So 1.5 cup of cherries is what I'm going to be using, and 2 cups of the rum soaked raisins and currants. So, and also we're going in with a 3/4 of a stick of butter. All right, so I think I got everything. And another little surprise. This is the coconut from the coconut milk that we made over there. I'm going to put some of this coconut flakes just for a little texture, because this is a dense kind of a bread. It's a dense roll, and I think it would do well with just a little sprinkle of the coconut we call the trash coconut fiber that we blended and strained out when we made the coconut milk. It's also going into the hot cross bun. So this is hot cross bun Alicia's vision. Don't come for me, because this is not the way you make your hot cross bun. This is the way I make mine. So we're going to take all this stuff over to the mixer and put a dough hook in and make the dough, and we're going to start kneading the dough the next time I come back. Okay, so here we are at the mixer with our dough hook on. First things first, we're going to be adding the yeast liquid. Dump it in. I'm going to get all that in. And then we're going to be adding our 3/4 stick of butter. And we're going to go on low heat and start mixing. Low speed and start mixing, I should say, not heat, speed. Even though we're on low, we're having flour spillage here because we're making a really big batch for this size mixer. Okay. Trying to just go in there. I'm going to go ahead now, and we have 2 cups of brown sugar that we're going to be adding in for our flour mixture. I'm also going to be adding the coconut trash that we strained out of the coconut milk. So just the blended coconut fiber trash is what we call it. And I'm going to be adding the 2 cups of warm coconut milk. Okay, there we go again. Because my blend is so filled all the way to the top, I'm going to start out on low. Just until the dough starts really holding and sticking together. Okay. And we'll have some flour dusting to do later on, because I do have flour just airborne all over. Oh yeah, you can tell I did put too much in here. But it's working its way. Okay, let's turn it off and take a look. See, that's our dough, and I think it's together enough that it's ready to be kneaded. So when I come back, I'm going to be putting this on a floured surface, and we're going to start that first kneading. Before we roll the dough out on our floured surface, I think this is a good time to incorporate our rum-soaked currants and raisins and our cherries. I could put them in as I knead the dough, but I might as well just start mixing them here. So we're going to be mixing in the rum-soaked raisins and cherries. I have that on high just to really mix it in. think that's it. That's all we need. Now time for a floured surface. So this is my dough. It's a big one. Whew. As I said, I made a big batch because I'm going to be giving them away for Easter. You want to give this baby a good knead. Until it's nice and smooth. So I've been kneading for about a good 10 minutes. And look, all the cherries and the rum soaked raisins and the currants are all blended in. So this is hot. You're gonna put this in the same. I'm gonna put it in a glass bowl. I'm going to have it resting for 2 hours. This dough needs to rest for 2 hours, and it should double in size. Okay, so this is going to be in a nice big bowl. Some people put oil or butter on the bottom so it doesn't stick. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. A little bit of canola oil, just to oil the bottom. Just kind of brush the oil all around, because you don't want the dough to stick. I kind of put a lot of oil, so I'm going to drain some of that out. It's too much. You just don't want it you don't want it sitting in a soup of oil. You just want enough oil so it doesn't stick to the bowl. There we go. I am going to cover this up, and I'm going to be sticking this in my oven. The oven is not on, but the pilot light of my oven is on, so it's still a little bit on the warm side. It's warmer than my kitchen generally, so I'm going to put this in the oven. Now it's 117, 217, 317 is when we're going to take this dough out again, and we're going to give it another knead, and a quick knead, and then we're going to make them into the hot cross buns. Put them on sheet pan, and we're going to have them raised again for another 15 minutes to half an hour. We want them doubled again, and then after that we're going to bake them. Okay, so here's the beauty. She's been resting for 2 hours. You can smell the yeast coming off of this dough. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put a little bit of flour on our surface. That's kind of more than a little bit, but you know what I mean. We're gonna dump this out. Ooh, you feel the warmth of the dough. Okay, I definitely put too much flour. just kind of pressing the air out of the stove. Not going to be doing too much kneading at this point. We're going to start separate these into roll size dough to make our individual rolls. So I'm going to cut this in half. All right, this is going back in the raising dish, and I'm going to work with this half. We're going to try to do even buns, individual buns. So now the half is in quarters. There we go. Trying to come up with, I'm just eyeballing them. I'm really not weighing to see that they're the exact, they're going to be the exact size. Each of the thirds, I'm just cutting into another third. So this is kind of what we're looking for. Okay. And then we're going to put these on a greased pan. This is my pan. I'm just going to add a little bit of oil. A little bit of oil and grease this pan nicely. Okay, so this is nicely greased. And then we're just going to be making our buns and putting it on the pan. Bun number 2 going on the pan. So I'm going to continue in the same fashion, and I'm going to finish off all these buns, and when we come back after we've finished our buns, putting them on a grease pan, I'm going to show you how we do the cross on the top of the bun. And then these buns are going to go back, covered up again, and go back and raise go back in a warm place and raised for another 15 to 20 minutes before we decide to bake them. So I'll be back. Once we come back, my trays are going to be filled with buns ready to be crossed and raised for the second time. We'll be back. Okay guys, I'm about to give these hot cross buns their signature crosses. What I'm going to simply do is just take a scissor and cut the crosses and kind of open them up so when they cook they make a true cross. Snip, 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 snip. And what I'm doing is putting a little bit of oil on my my scissors, where when you snip it the dough doesn't stick to it. You give a nice clean snip on the top to make the cross. When they're baked, the cross will show. snip, snip. So that's what gives these buns their authentic hot cross bun name, is the cross that sits on top. And of course the goodness that's in the bun itself. But so that's it. We're gonna just snip these and make these cute little crosses on top of the buns, and then they're gonna go back in a warm oven to be raised for another 15-20 minutes or so before we bake them. Then we're gonna be putting them, we're gonna turn the oven on 375 degrees, and they're gonna be baking for 15 to 20 minutes or until they're done. But 15 to 20 minutes should be good enough to bake these babies to perfection. My buns are not even. I have some bigger ones and some smaller ones. So what I'm gonna do is just try to put all the small ones on one tray and try to cook them in sizes where they cook evenly. You don't want to have big buns and small buns on the same tray, because they all are not going to be cooking at the same time if they're not the same sizes. So I'm going to try to separate my buns and put all the buns of the same size on the same tray, so I get a more even cooking. So this is what they look like with the little X on top. 15 more minutes of raising time, and then we're putting them in the oven 375 degrees for 20 minutes. Okay guys, so these are our buns hot out of the oven. Right here I have a little bit of sugar and water solution that I'm going to be brushing them with to give them a little bit of a sheen on top. And if you notice that our crosses didn't come out looking so bright, so what I'm going to do is where we slit for the cross, we're going to put a little bit of icing sugar to make the cross. Okay, so when we come back, we'll come back with the finished bun, show you how we're putting in the icing sugar to make the crosses, and tasting. We'll be back. Okay, so with a little bit of icing sugar, powdered sugar and water, I made a little paste that we're going to be using to make the crosses on top. Right in the indentation of where we cut the dough, the cross sits perfectly. There we go. Beautiful. Alright, so this is what the hot cross buns look like. I'm going to go ahead, and to save some time, I'll turn the camera off and finish them up. Next time you see them, they'll be presented on a platter. Okay everyone, so this is our final product. This is our hot cross bun, an Easter tradition I had when I was a child. This is it, dusted with a drizzle with a little bit of the coconut flakes that I used inside. And those are my giveaways. Instead of the Easter basket with Easter bunny stuff, I'm going to be giving away fresh made hot cross buns. Happy Easter, everyone. Have a blessed and safe one. Bye.